Hello, I'm James Wells, Education Content Manager at Crayola. Planning for back to school is an annual ritual that all educators experience. So why not get a head start on planning to reduce anxiety and help you step into the new school year refreshed, rested, recharged, and ready for creative learning? During this session, you'll hear from educators who leverage creativity and movement to engage their entire learning community. Welcome, friends, and please introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name's Diane Griffin. I'm the Vice President of TeacherList.
Hi, I'm Marlo Castillo. I'm the Arts Integration Resource Teacher for Prince George's County Public Schools.
Hello, I'm Jacqueline Martin. I'm the Dance Resource Teacher for Prince George's County Public Schools.
Creative teaching and learning can yield many benefits, including a boost in students' enthusiasm for learning, creative confidence, academic achievement, and social and emotional well-being. Marlo, how do you help educators build their capacity and enthusiasm so they can bring creative teaching and learning to their classroom?
Well, each year in PGCPS, we bring together up to 100 teachers of all grade levels and content areas to the Prince George's Artist Teacher Institute, known as PGATI. In this 4-day institute, teachers are immersed in the arts and arts integration through a series of participatory workshops led by professional teaching artists and veteran teachers versed in arts integration. At the end of PGATI, teacher participants are invited to apply for continued professional learning in arts integration through the Arts Integration Master Teacher Program. This school year program offers these inspired teachers an artist residency for their classroom, multi-session courses in particular arts integration strategies, feedback and coaching, and quarterly reflecting and planning sessions with their cohort. One county-wide program that has developed over the 11 years of this work is the Growing Up Green program that connects kindergartners to the outdoors through creative movement and visual arts, honing their observational skills by creating dance phrases describing what they observe about plants on a nature walk, and then demonstrating their understanding of plant parts and needs to survive through drawing and embroidery.
Wow, Marlo, you have lots of exciting things happening there in Prince George's County. And I know those educators are thrilled to receive the wonderful service and professional development opportunities to build their capacity. So now the school day is usually 7 hours and is filled with lots of learning opportunities for students and educators, but it can feel extra long if you sit all day. Now, learning is more than a brain experience and must involve the whole body. So, Jacqueline, as a dance educator, can you share the benefits of movement and why educators should consider adding movement into their classroom?
Absolutely, James. There are many benefits to incorporating movement in your classroom, but the three biggies are energy, engagement, and retention. Movement activates the brain by increasing blood flow and oxygen to its receptors. This in turn increases our energy, enhances cognitive function, and makes us more prepared to learn. When students sit for long periods of time, restlessness, boredom, and fatigue can really set in. A short movement break can help them reset and refocus. Movement activities also align with how our brains and bodies just naturally learn and interact with the environment. Our elementary students especially respond well to movement-based activities because they are natural kinesthetic learners who process information from hands-on experiences rather than simple passive listening. And hands-on experiences encourage students to engage more with the work being done in the classroom. Incorporating movement can create nonverbal entry points for our English language learners and developers, as well as students with learning differences and our shy students who may be more reluctant to speak in class. Through movement, students are often asked to take turns, communicate, and share space with each other, and this activates empathy in the classroom and truly builds a sense of community. Finally, movement reinforces concepts, ideas, and learning through muscle memory. Think about your own daily routines. When you get up in the morning, you probably have a similar step-by-step process that you physically do to prepare yourself for your day. You brush your teeth, you wash your face, you make a cup of coffee, you walk the dog. Every day you do these things because your body remembers what to do. Your muscles have retained that information, and therefore, these daily routines have become natural processes. It's the same in the classroom. When learning is connected to physical actions, students create stronger neural connections, which makes abstract concepts more concrete and more memorable. So in summary, by engaging the body, students activate more areas of the brain and become active participants in their own learning. This is especially important in the elementary years when curiosity and physicality are natural modes of exploration.
Thanks for reminding us that our bodies are hardwired to move. The beginning of the school year is the perfect time to be intentional and make creative movement part of the daily routine. Jacqueline, can you please show us some simple movements that can wake up our bodies and get the blood flowing?
Sure. First thing we want to think about is creating movements for responses. So standing up in shape is one way to respond. It's an active learning check, and it's great for review questions in any subject area. So I'll start by explaining a couple of examples. So teachers can engage students in stand if. Students can create a shape for each response and then stand when they hear the answer they believe is the correct response in the pre-designated shape they have created with their bodies. So I'm going to scoot back and show you an example here. So teachers can call out and say, stand in a certain shape if you believe the response is A. So for instance, students may have created a shape, a very simple one like this. This could mean A. So if a student believes that the correct response is A, they would stand from their desk when the teacher says, stand if you believe the response is A. There may be a different response for B, and for C, and for D. These simple movements allow students to review and engage physically with their bodies. Similar could be said for true or false, and reviewing in any subject area. Another movement for response is a wonderful game that can be called Scoot, okay? Scoot is awesome. Scoot really basically has students move from desk to desk to answer questions in a rapid-fire content review style. So a movement-based game like Scoot is a whole class activity where students move around the classroom, typically from desk to desk or table to table, completing tasks or answering questions at each station, so to speak. It is a form of active learning that breaks from traditional seated instruction that we know can cause students to check out or just be disengaged or become bored or not really absorbing all of that information you're trying to give them. Instead, it is an active form of learning that breaks from this traditional seated instruction and can be used for a wide range of content areas from math to language arts and beyond. Here's how it generally works. So teachers will prepare numbered task cards with questions or problems that are related to the subject or content being taught. The task cards are placed around the classroom on desks and tables. Students start at a designated table or desk. They read the task card and answer the question or a corresponding numbered recording sheet. When the teacher says scoot, students will physically move to the next desk or numbered station, leaving their task card in place and taking their recording sheet for the answers with them. This continues until students have completed all of the task cards and time is up. After the game, teachers can review the answers with the class. This activity gets students moving around the room, improving a sense of community in the classroom, and improving their engagement and focus. This game-like nature of the review process also increases students' motivation. It helps to reinforce concepts through active engagement, and it's a great formative assessment tool. And it can be adapted for different subjects and grade levels. A final example would be story movement. Story movement is a great activity for bringing text and narratives to life. A couple of really solid examples are read and react. So students can act out verbs or emotions while listening to you read a story. Or character walk, one of my favorites. Students can walk around the classroom as a character from a novel. For example, you can challenge students with walking through different emotions or in different styles based on that character. If you have a sneaky character, you can challenge a student to walk throughout your classroom space in a sneaky manner. So students would be walking as if maybe they had a secret that they were keeping. You could tell them to walk in a tired manner. All right, and as teachers, you can probably demonstrate this well for your students. In a tired manner, feeling sluggish, walking throughout the room. And then you could also say, what if someone was super happy? They may decide to skip throughout the room or jump throughout the room. These are all ways that students can engage with their text and bring it to life physically through movement in their bodies.
A hallmark of creative teaching and learning is collaboration. When students and colleagues collaborate, it enhances the learning experience by exposure to diverse ideas and perspectives. Jacqueline and Marlo, can you lead us through a collaborative exercise that integrates dance and visual art making?
I want to get started by explaining what a dance phrase is. So in dance, a collection of movement sequences is called a dance phrase. Let me give you an English language arts analogy that I believe really helps to understand dance phrasing. Look at a dance phrase as a paragraph in an essay. A paragraph is made up of 5 or more sentences that are connected to each other, just as a dance phrase consists of 5 or more 8 counts that are performed together to share a concept or idea. And when you put all of those paragraphs or phrases together, you have a completed essay, or in dance, choreography. This same analogy can transfer across content areas when you think about producing a certain result or product and consider the micro and macro levels of getting there. Having students create movements that come together to share or express a larger idea or theme is a way to start incorporating dance or movement phrasing into your classroom. From bringing stories to life through movement, solving math equations from basic addition all the way to trigonometry, to historical timelines for major world events or eras, or exploring scientific formulas, even working with the elements of the periodic table. Movement phrases can be created in any classroom to help students communicate, express, and/or retain information. I want to show you a basic movement phrase today through simple observation of shapes in my environment. As my peer and colleague notices the shapes, I will use different parts of my body, different actions, and even different levels of movement to put these shapes into motion. Marlo, whenever you are ready, please tell me any shapes that you are seeing in my environment, and I will respond through movement and shapes in my own physical body. And we'll see if we can put this together in some sort of movement sequence and then layer it with some elements of dance to turn it into an actual movement phrase.
All right. Okay, looking closely, I see that ottoman that's shaped like a cube.
Yes. All right, so I can form a square on many levels, but I'm going to do this on what we call the mid-level. So this will be my ottoman for now.
Nice.
What
ottoman. Then I see that, I see those plants on the wall that are kind of poking out, like coming towards us.
Yes. So with those coming towards us, I will take that into a high level. And I'm going to use my arms to sort of represent the extension of the leaves that are coming out from that plant box on the wall. So we have our cube and we have our plant box. What else, Marlo?
I'm really struck by that cross in that teepee there on the floor, that little...
Nice. Okay, so I am going to continue that at the high level. So we have our box. We went to the high level with the plant box coming out of the wall. And now we have the TP. I'm going to continue this standing up tall and crossing my wrist to represent the top of that TP. How's that, Marlo?
Yeah. And then I see that circle, that big clock on the wall. It almost makes me think of a spiraling.
Yes. Okay, so spiraling is so great, Marlo. That's already giving me ideas about a travel pathway. But I'm going to start first by just representing that shape, that circular shape. So I'm going to start on a high level, finished with that TP, and now I'm going to go with my arms into a circular shape. This is actually considered to be dance. In dance, this is first position in your arms. So we're getting very technical here. Starting with that TP, I'm going to bring the arms down and around and create a circle. Nice, Marlo. How about one more?
I'm really intrigued actually by both of those plants on that side of the room and how they're pointing upwards. And that one almost seems to be spiraling upwards as well.
Agreed. I think we can take that to actually to put a little bit more movement in our body. So coming from this circle, I would maybe spiral to extend my arms out. I could even add in my lower body and add some little kicks with my leg. I can spiral those as well. So if I think about all of these shapes that you've noticed, Marlo, we already have somewhat of a phrase coming together. We have our sequence, our collection of shapes and movement. We have our cube. We have our plant box. We have our TP. We have our clock. And we have our plant that's spiraling from the bottom of the planter and out. And we will add that into our lower body with spiraling motions of the legs. Awesome, Marlo. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jacqueline.
I'm actually going to try to put these together and now add a little bit more movement. So Marlo, you had mentioned spiral, you had mentioned the circular motion. So not just doing those shapes, but actually traveling a little bit more. For those teachers that have space in their classroom where your students can actually travel, or you're able to move your desks or your tables out of the way and have a free open space, you can actually lift or elevate this movement to now create a dance phrase that involves space, time, and different energies. So with space, those are our levels that we've been using. With time, this is about how long you stretch a movement out or how short of a time frame that you do it, or if you repeat it over and over again. And then with energy, this is something that shows sharp or fluid. Yes, we can even play with size, something that's big or small. So let's try to do that and elevate our sequence into a true dance phrase, adding those three elements of space, time, and energy. We have our cube. We will start it with this and we'll leave it there. We have our plant that's coming out of the wall. I'm going to do that sharper and faster. And then I'm going to slow it down to come into our TP. Use a fluidity to come there. And let that continue into our clock. But not only am I going to circle my arms, I'm going to walk in a circle as I do it. And then finally, I'm going to add to that plant by spiraling from the ground up, and I'm going to move forward on a middle level and back on a high level, and then add in my legs in a quick fashion at the end. I say we created a successful dance phrase, Marlo. Thank you so much for your observations through this process. Marlo, I'd like to challenge you to actually sketch a visual art piece of these movements that I have been creating with my body. feel free to use the actual time, space, or energy of my movements to help direct and impact your artwork as well. So I'm going to move through that dance phrase one more time for you. I started with the cube and moved to the plant box coming out of the wall, and then went into my TP. And from that TP, I used the clock to inspire a circular pathway and circular movement with my arms. And that brought me into the very spirally and powerful level-changing movements that came with the plant in the corner. I can't wait to see your work, Marlo.
Thank you, Marlo and Jacqueline, for these wonderful examples. There are also Crayola back-to-school lesson plans involving movement that educators can access for free on TeacherLists.com. What are some of your favorite back-to-school projects? Educators, we invite you to share photos, links, and comments in the chat. We'll randomly select 3 winners who share their favorite projects to receive a bundle of Crayola supplies valued at $150. Parents and community members can support educators' classroom by providing supplies to do their creative activities. Diane, in addition to the free learning library of resources, TeacherLists provides an easy way for teachers to create their classroom supply lists and share them out with parents and others. Can you please share with our viewers how to use TeacherLists.com to find the Crayola lessons and to build their back-to-school supply list?
So what you're going to do is you're going to go to TeacherLists.com, select Learn More, and then Free Classroom Activities. That will take you to our learning library. Here you can search for activities by grade, subject, brand. We selected Crayola, and we have some great activities here. Fabulous Physical Fitness is one. We have many others, but for each activity we'll provide you the learning area, the grades it's appropriate for, as well as how long the activity should take. We'll give you a list of materials that you'll need for the activity, as well as step-by-step instructions. We've got lots of great activities, a bunch from Crayola. Would love for you to come over and check them out. What TeacherList is about is helping families get first day ready. We take that traditional school supply list, the paper list of the 10 to 15 items that the kids need for the first day of school, and we turn it into a digital shoppable list. Same list, same items, but now it's connected to retail. As you look at your list, if you want to purchase online, you simply click on your retailer of choice, and all the items on the list go into the cart for an easy purchase. Parents love it. How does it work? You simply come to TeacherList.com and upload your supply list. We'll take almost any format, PDF, Word doc, whatever you have. We'll digitize the list and share it with our retail partners and also with you so that you can share it with families. We've got lots of great ways to share in emails, newsletters, social media graphics. You can even share it on your own school website. So for example, Spring Park Elementary School parents simply go to their school website, find their supply list. They can view their list in multiple languages, including Spanish. They can print the list if they want to go shop in store, or if they want to shop online, like we said, you just click the retailer of choice. All of the items flow right into the cart. TeacherList is free for schools and families. We hope you'll come check it out. It's a great way to interact with your families, even before school starts.
Thanks, Diane, Marlo, and Jacqueline for sharing your expertise. And a special thanks to the educators joining us today. As an extra bonus, you can find a week's worth of free back-to-school activities, plus cross-curricular lesson plans, videos, and downloadable thinking sheets for the rest of the school year at Crayola.com/learning. Be sure to subscribe to our e-newsletter to have resources delivered right to your inbox. Have a great rest of your summer.
Bye.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.